Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. We still have a large number of unique items to go. I always hoped that I would be able to get through them much quicker than this, but you know, it's taken some time, and I have every intention of finishing. And one day, when I finally finish my last unique item, maybe we'll throw a party. Uh, But today we're going to be going over the Rakescar War Axe. Now the Rakescar War Axe is an interesting one because it actually is a pretty nice damage weapon for a lower level character. It also is a War Axe or a Berserker's Axe, if you might think of it more familiarly. It is a very long range one-handed weapon. It is the max range one-handed weapon, not including of course some of the two-handed weapons which can be wielded in one hand by a barbarian. But just in general, this particular class of weapon is an extremely long-ranged weapon, and that is one of the big advantages this particular weapon has. It does have 25 to 45 damage, which is not particularly insane, but it's decent. It has 30% increased attack speed, which means it will attack quite quickly. And unfortunately, the enhanced damage does have quite a large variable from 75% to 150%. Which is a pretty big variable. It's what is that, 50, 25? That's 75% variable on the damage. It does have a nice 50 attack rating, which is actually pretty good at level 27 and can help you out quite well. And then 38 poison damage over 3 seconds at level 27 might actually do something. Not going to be anything later on. And then, of course, it also gives you a rather massive 50% poison resistance, which is pretty cool. All in all, the weapon is really kind of targeted at a lower level character, someone who's still in normal difficulty, and quite honestly, it can see good use there. The ethereal version has 37 to 67 damage. Unfortunately, due to the low durability, you really can't utilize this for very long at level 27 if you found one. You can, of course, socket this if you want to, but most people probably aren't going to waste a socket on this low level item. Quite honestly, I don't think it's going to scale very well, but the 1-tier upgrade to tier 2, so the normal difficulty upgrade to the exceptional difficulty version, actually might be halfway decent, so we'll explore that. The Rakescar War Axe is one of those ones that you're going to find a lot. I've actually found quite a large number of these. Let's go ahead and upgrade it, though. So to do that, we're going to need a Ral, a Soul, and a Perfect Emerald. All right, and this is going to upgrade us to the Naga. So we're going to go from the Rakescar War Axe, 25 to 45, 67 strength, level 27, to the Rakescar Naga, 40 to 112, 121 strength. Pretty big bump there on the strength requirement. Level 32 requirement, not bad, and quite honestly, a pretty good solid 1-tier upgrade. The damage went up quite nicely. The level requirement didn't go up so massive that it was too bad, and the strength requirement is within reason for a level 32 character if you're a melee. Melees only, pretty much. So barbarians, paladins, maybe a druid. So the ethereal version can go from the Rakescar War Axe 37 to 67, 57 strength, 27 level requirement, to 60 to 167 damage, 111 strength, level 32. Unfortunately, though, it's really not usable by anybody because it will unfortunately break. To actually make this weapon usable, you'd have to put a Zod rune in it, which would immediately raise the level cap of this item quite tremendously. To give you an idea, I'm pretty sure I have a Zod rune sitting around here somewhere. I usually do, anyway. There we go. As you can see now, it's level 74. So quite a large bump in level requirement for that, which means that we're going to have to upgrade it to the elite version for that even to be somewhat in the realm of possibility. So to upgrade this to the elite version, you're going to need a Pull rune, a Lum rune, and another Perfect Emerald. And this is going to upgrade us from the Naga to the Berserker's Axe. Now, unfortunately, due to the low ED on this particular item, it's not going to upgrade well to the 3rd tier, I can already tell you this. But it might be somewhere in the realm of usability. Let's take a look. So 40 to 112, 121 strength, level 32. to 60 to 177, 59 dex, 138 strength, level 76. So quite a large bump in level requirement there. Strength requirement did go up pretty high, and that dex requirement isn't too terrible. Let's go ahead and do the ethereal version now, which I already threw a Zod rune into. And this is going to go from 60 to 167, 111 strength, level 74, to 90 to 265. Not actually that bad. 49 dexterity, 128 strength, and level 81. Quite honestly, though, not worth the Zod rune. But it is interesting that it did actually upgrade to a somewhat usable item. Not like altogether completely terrible. The first 1-tier upgrade I feel was pretty solid and could definitely do you for a little while into normal and nightmare difficulty. You're probably going to upgrade pretty quickly, but meh. The 2nd-tier upgrade to the elite version, not that great, but the ethereal version actually did do not bad, actually. Although at level 81, there's a lot better weapons that you could be using other than that. Let's take a look over at Silo's Pen real quick, and let's take a look and see where you can find this particular item. You know, at the end of every single one of these videos, at the end of every single one, I go to Silo's Pen, and I look up the drop chance probability of these items, specifically because I want you guys to know where to find them, and I talk about the pros and cons of specific places that you can find these items. You know, somebody in live stream literally came in and told me that I needed to start using Silo's Pen more often because I was giving people bad probabilities, and and I couldn't help but laugh because I'm like, dude, I literally go to Silo's Pen for like every single unique item video, every single one, literally, that I do. Like, it's literally the thing I do. Have you actually seen any of my videos? Like, have you actually seen any? I'm not sure you have. So since this is a relatively low level item, I'm going to assume 75% Magic Find. And let's take a look at bosses first, okay? So the bosses are normal Diablo, that's Quest, though. We can't count him. That's Quest Bale, Quest Mephisto. We can't count those. So non-Quest normal Diablo seems like the best bet at 1 in 322. And then below him is non-Quest Bale, which does take quite a bit to farm, so I would probably ignore him. And then Nightmare Andoriel. Now, this goes back to the same conversation I had with the person who told me to use Silo's Pen. Nightmare Andoriel is going to be a much harder farm unless you're using Map Pack. And ironically, very recently, Map Pack has been banned on Blizzard, and a lot of people have lost their accounts over it. So if you are playing online, Nightmare Andoriel is probably not going to be the best choice for this particular item. Now, Nightmare Andoriel is probably the better choice in general because there are a lot of different items that Nightmare Andoriel can drop that are pretty awesome. However, normal Diablo, which is 1 in 322, is definitely the superior choice because, number one, he's easy to kill. Number two, he is easy to get to and to find, whereas Nightmare Andoriel is not. And on top of that, you know, he is going to be just a super easy farm just in general, whereas Nightmare Andoriel is more of a pain in the butt, especially if you don't have teleport. So, for instance, you know, if you're a sorceress and you can reliably teleport Andoriel very quickly, then Andoriel in Nightmare might be the better choice. But Diablo in normal is an easy to find monster. You know exactly where he is. You walk down the causeway, you break the 3 seals, Diablo pops out, done. And if you're you know, if you're a relatively low level character, this might be the better option, especially since you don't have to deal with the negative resistances of Nightmare. Let's take a look really quickly at super uniques. And looks like Nightmare Cow King. Pretty good option there, but unfortunately that's outside of the level range of a character who, you know, is trying to use this item at level 27. Normal difficulty Bone Saw Breaker in the Glacial Trail. Kind of a difficult one to get to. Shank the Overseer in normal. That's a good one. Doc Farron in normal. That's a good one. Pindlescan in normal. That's a good one. Thresh Socket in normal. That's a good one. So there you go right there. There's your pretty good options right there. So just farm Pindle, Doc Farron, Shank Overseer, and Shank the Overseer, Doc Farron, Pindlescan. Where is Eldritch the Rectifier? Is he not on here? Am I blind? Does Eldritch really not drop it? Eldritch does not drop it. That's very interesting. It's the first time I've seen Eldritch Shank be on the list, but Eldritch not be on the list. So Eldritch the Rectifier can't drop it, but Shank can. Doc Farron and Thresh Socket and Pindleskin can as well. Those are all relatively easy to get to monsters. If you're unaware, Shank is at the top of Bloody Foothills, right where the Frigid Highlands waypoint is. Doc Farron is in the middle of Bloody Foothills, very easy to get to. Pindleskin, of course, is in town at the portal for Neelithak's temple. And Thresh Socket is a little bit more difficult to get to. He's at the end of Frigid Highlands, right at the beginning of Ariat Plateau. He's actually not that hard to get to if you have teleport, a little bit more difficult if you are running. I think that's pretty much everything we need to go over when it comes to Rakescar. Final thoughts on this particular weapon. It's a decent low-level weapon. At level 27, when you can put this weapon on, it has very good attack speed. It has very good damage for its level. It can be easily upgraded by one tier, which doesn't massively increase the requirements so bad that it's terrible, and the damage goes up quite nicely. If you're a Zeal Paladin, if you're a Frenzy Barbarian, even if you're a werewolf or a bear druid and you're just hurting for a weapon, this weapon can totally be a very good item. On top of that, the range of the War Axe, Berserker's Axe, and Naga being the longest range one-handed weapons in the game actually makes for quite a nice weapon on a melee character. Range actually is a pretty big deal when it comes to weapons, and I think that if you try out a Berserker's Axe as opposed to something like a Phase Blade, you will notice that the range is actually a pretty big deal. Anyway, as always, it kind of reminded me when I was younger. I raised a bunch of squirrels, and one of the squirrels was named Scar. I actually named him Scar because he had a scar like across his face, and just totally reminded me of that squirrel. You know what? I'm gonna pop a picture up of the squirrel. There you go. Bonus squirrel pictures. This is Scar and Mad Mardigan. I raised them both, and I released them when they became old enough to, seemingly go on their own. One of them actually got wounded. It seemed like he got attacked by a hawk or an eagle or something. And I actually brought him back in the house, and he, stayed with me for a couple weeks. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks actually, till finally he healed up. And once he was completely healed up, I put him back outside. They're wild animals, and it was very evident that they were wild animals, and I wasn't going to keep them. Although it would have been nice to have squirrel pets. I mean, I technically do have a squirrel pet, don't I? Even if he is a Chinchilla. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.